We are live. We are live. Dr. Vigan, hi. This is Board of Health, May 21st, 2025. Roll call.
Susie Doherty present. Jillian Morton present.
And Amy Vigan present. Larry is coming a few minutes late. He's stuck in traffic. We can start otherwise. I think I would like to pass over 3 until the end. So to wait for everyone to be here. Do we want to wait for the other 2 and maybe just start with the health agent's agenda?
As usual, we can circle back to like we always do. Title 5 reviews and variants, we have 4 conventional file system reviews and 1 alternative. Title 5 request for review and for upgrades. No emergency responses. Inspections are ongoing, same site that our college inspectors have been operating throughout the years. There was beach water, we're approaching the beach water season. Our intern will be in tomorrow. I'll be available in the office, and we'll be kicking off safely June 3rd.
How is the intern selected?
The Department of Public Health has a pool in terms of their program, their internship program, and they assign it based on application and behavior to us. Public Health nurse, obviously doing a great job, she's taking care of all of our disease reporting.
And she has mentioned to me that she's happy to come once in a while.
Absolutely. Fairness Coalition, we're still attending meetings, taking care of our deliverables.
He skipped.
Rental housing is ongoing. So,
Thank you. And the nurse epidemiologist also, maybe the best time of the year to catch them, but
yeah,
they both have said they'll come. And Patrick Tropiano is now here.
Sorry, I'm late.
That's-
I got carried away, or I should have been carried away. I don't know, one of the two.
So we'll go back to number 3, which is Patrick Brophy, and the subject of all of us getting our, so Patrick Brophy is,
Can I say
yeah,
something? Sorry to say,
we're not, I know,
they screwed it up.
yeah,
Okay,
I know.
okay.
So Patrick Brophy couldn't be here today, but he has been here at 3, and actually I received something from the town selectman's office that you actually only have to be at 1 meeting, they recommend 3. So, but he does want to be on the, come to the Board of Health as an associate. And he did send me his CV, so that I could at least say a little bit about him. I know we spoke to him a few months back. And he had graduated from with a Master's of Science in Medical Microbiology. That was where most pertinent to the Board of Health. He also graduated from medical school and was an oncological surgeon. So, and he was in the military as a physician and served abroad, I think in Afghanistan and 87 to 2002, not that that has a lot to do, but I thought it was quite interesting, and was a combat surgeon in various assignments. So if anybody has any other questions, I certainly, we graduated from the same year in medical school. I didn't know him well, but we were in the same year. And he lives in Onset. So I think he's certainly qualified, and so if anyone wanted to look at this, I know you saw it before, if you wanted to see it.
Yeah, we can,
Yeah.
while we're on the topic, our next meeting will have everyone on this items for reappointments and for reorganization.
Right,
So
wonderful.
that's what we're doing.
Okay, we need to get those, once those are on, I spoke with the select office today, and everyone needs to get their applications in. who is up. I'm not up this year, but you're up.
Mine's already in.
And Larry was, Patrick Brophy was putting his in, and everybody else gets theirs in and do all, there's a couple little forms you need to fill out and trainings you need to do. And then once that happens, that goes before the Board of Selectmen. And that's for the end of June, so hopefully we can get that on one of their meetings in June. Would anyone, has any discussion regarding Dr. Brophy's?
Technically, we can't do too much discussion. It should have said just what the discussion was, and it's just his name, and so it's problematic. Just saying. We don't want to get ourselves into hot water, but it's nice that you told us that. We'll put it on, it's under Patrick's, report. And that way we cover ourselves. Patrick. Right, Patrick? How'd it go?
So what you're saying is you don't want to vote today?
Well, we can't.
We have to do them, we'll do them all on the next agenda, everybody individually will go.
Yeah, we can't because there's nothing, his name is
Is
here
there, but without a
without telling him what,
discussion
you have to
it is.
warn ahead of time, you know?
Mhm.
So unfortunately, I, by the time, I saw it, but by the time I done it, it was already posted. I couldn't change it. I'm sorry.
Okay. I didn't, yeah, I thought these were headers and not the whole,
No, they have to warn what you're gonna talk about for whatever, and it does. All of our things say that, you know? I mean, agent's report, he's gonna give a report. Infectious diseases, you know, everything is there.
We would have to review it.
okay. All right,
So we'll make it work.
all right. So next then is discussion and possible vote on 22 Morrison Street variance request.
Come on down, you're the next contestant.
What do I win? Good afternoon, Brian Grady, GAF Engineering. A few extra copies of plan,
Yeah,
if
you should be-
anyone needs any.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, you've got yours.
We should get this. Okay, go ahead.
So,
What the heck, right?
I'm here for tomorrow, looking for some variance requests for new construction out at 22 Morrison Street, on a lot on Park Avenue. Variances we're requesting: Title 5 requires soil absorption system to be 10 feet from the property line. Our soil absorption system is 10 feet, but the reserve area is only 5 feet. Typically, what would happen if the system fails in the future, they would just dig it out and replace it in place, but it's a waiver we need to request. The next waiver, septic tank shall be 10 feet from a cellar wall. We have the septic tank at 9 feet from the cellar wall. Rather than request a waiver of the property line, we were requesting it to the foundation. And the last waiver, the soil absorption system shall be 20 feet from a cellar wall. We're showing the system 12 feet from the cellar wall, but we're providing a poly barrier between the leaching field and the foundation as mitigation for that. Now, as you can see, it's a pretty small lot, which is the reason for this request. The lot's only 5,921 square feet, but it's a modest home, 26 by 26 feet. So none of these are environmental setback variances, they're construction standard variances. The system does have fast nitrogen treatment technology because we are 400 feet from Cranberry Bog on the other side of Barker Road, I think it is. And those are the requested waivers.
So is this new construction?
Correct, brand new, it's vacant lot.
Okay, so
20
you're
feet
doing this
from
under, what is it? 210,
Just the,
Uh,
new construction variance is, it's,
Under 210, section 2, right, or section 1, where you're saying that the lot wouldn't be useless without the variances.
Yeah, we need some waivers. As I said, it's a modest sized
Yeah.
home. It's on a small lot. It's a pre-existing non-conforming lot. We do have a letter of buildability.
Yeah.
From the building department.
Yeah, so
it's 15,514.
it's section B, yeah, right, section B.
The hardship.
It's a hardship because the lot would be useless otherwise.
Correct.
And that, and I'm okay with that, don't get me wrong, I'm all right with that. But, in the past, they've had some issues with this and they shouldn't. But I just wanted to make it clear that that's what you're under here. Because I don't want anybody to say, hey, that's new construction and you give them variances.
It would be the board's discretion.
Correct. Okay,
So I'm gonna need to recuse myself on this, due to representing the seller. So I don't know if you wanna make a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Yeah.
Of course. All right, I move we approve the plan as presented with the following variances. Required soil
Patrick.
absorption system.
No, I can't vote, so,
But there's two of us to vote. I think
oh, you're fine.
Yeah.
We're fine.
All right, you
It's-
good?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
are, good. Thank
Shall
you.
be 10 feet from the property line. The reserve area is 5 feet from the property line. The septic tank shall be 10 feet from the cellar wall, and the septic tank is 9 feet from the cellar wall instead. Okay, and there's also a soil absorption system from 20 feet to 12 feet with a liner placed around the system. And that's it, those are the variances.
And I will second that.
Yes,
Roll call vote.
Patrick Tropiano, yes.
Your name is that, yes.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Perry.
Summer traffic.
Thank you.
Yeah, and rain up in Stoughton.
Traffic was brutal, I tried to go over the bridge. It's crazy, I know, it's not even Friday or Saturday. I think everybody's planning on coming, huh?
And next is discussion and possible vote on 32 Tyler Ave variance request.
Somebody, is Keith the guy
And-
here? No, gone.
This is from Zenith Consulting, Jamie Bissonette.
He's gonna get it.
Did you speak with them? Either of you?
I said he's coming. I said, hey, or you can go on.
Thank you.
Good.
Would you like, do you want to wait for him, or do you want to present it and?
I think it's the one, not only frankly, but I believe it has caveats to hear it. The variance we're requesting is actually from our local regulations, requiring the 150-foot setback from bordering wetlands. I wanted to leave this to the board's discretion whether they were interested in varying this as well as discussing the wording that we changed as far as title influence for our own regulations. In an end around wording fashion, this may not be considered a tidally influence wetland, because maybe not need this variance altogether, but this would be a limited to our local regulation.
Will you explain what you were just saying about why you don't think it's potentially even?
When we reviewed the Title V regs, we changed our wording for the definition to include tidally influence, and not coastal wetlands. Because of the inland swamp, not necessarily tidally influenced, but something swamp ending, so to speak. This is where we kind of get that caveat with the word.
So it's Depot, it's off Depot Street, So I'm seeing here.
This is on the,
or that 5 corner area, whatever that is.
exactly, on the other side of the train tracks, there's
Yep,
a neighborhood off to the right if you're coming from the opposite direction, going towards the side.
Has conservation looked at this yet?
And it's, conservation. Usually they want us to go first before they hear it.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's the discussion, or as, we don't know what conservation has said yet with regarding those wetlands?
Correct. I went to the site where I reviewed of the wetland law. We could waive this section.
Yeah, Title V says 100 feet. And so technically speaking, so they're gonna look at it, but they really don't have much say over it. Title V supersedes their authority as far as septic goes. So they would have to, you know, they always look at it, but and make sure you're not gonna be working in the buffer zone and all that stuff, you know how that goes, but it's 100 feet. Now, we have created a regulation that allows for 150 feet,
Or 500 for new,
right, or 500 for new.
correct?
You know, it depends on, again, we talked about this before, it depends on what you're close to. If you're close to a water body, then it makes a big difference, in my opinion. If you're on top of a water body and you put water in it, well, then it's when you get the oxygen reduction and, you know, the grass growing, all the stuff that is a problem for water bodies. But when you're next to a wetland, it's not really a big problem because the wetland absorbs the nitrogen, literally, and it flourishes as a result of it. So, you know, it's,
Right, it'd be interesting to hear back the studies that have happened with the changes that we made back, it's now 10 years ago or so.
yeah,
Because they talk specifically about wetlands and the nitrogen hurting the wetlands. Because that growth brings in algae and then hurts Buzzards Bay is what the thought was.
right.
Be interesting to see
And you're
where,
absolutely correct. If you're going into a water body, you definitely have that problem. I mean, that's how we end up with, you know, red tide and all that stuff because you grow the algae and everything else. But when you're next to a wetland and you put nitrogen to it, it grows. It's like adding fertilizer.
right, well, but that's what I was just saying. It also brings, it depends even upstream, even the rivers upstream.
Yeah.
At least when they explained this to us way back, that they will bring it down, you know, the nitrogen will come into Buzzards Bay. If you looked at what was going on in the Chesapeake Bay, I did a little bit of research when we were voting way back to understand the whole system. They even had up to 1,000 feet because of the issues of, you didn't have to be right next door, you just had to be on waterways that connect to the waterways of Buzzards Bay. So that's why why for new construction, it was 500 feet, and why they were so nervous about anything at all close to Buzzards Bay.
This is also denitrified, so
Buzzards Bay Coalition will be very interesting. This would be one of the things we're trying to get
it's gonna be changes.
them back in and understand what they're saying if they're, I mean, this was some years back, if the science has changed. I know Larry's been pretty up on some of this, but if you know, back then, it was not just 200 feet or 500 feet, it was any of the waterway, even the rivers upstream that come into Buzzards Bay.
This is
So-
an isolated swamp. It's not anything. This is across the train tracks that you go over.
There is a river near there. I was just talking to somebody that goes in there for kayaking.
It's farther in towards the onset.
Okay, thought there
This
was
is
one,
basically divided, really isolated. So we're-
but they said on Depot Street, there was someplace they park and they just go up there on Depot Street. I don't know where it is, but I was surprised because I don't know of a river there.
That's gonna be on the northern end.
It's on the other side of where Depot Station used to be.
Correct.
It's on the other side, the back side of Depot Station.
Towards the mining direction.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where it is. It's completely along, from, away from this. So, I don't really have a problem with this. I mean, they're denitrifying it, which makes me feel even more comfortable about it. To reduce the distance, as long as it's beyond the 100, I'm okay with it.
You have any thoughts, Larry?
I think our concern is more about nitrogen loading, not the setback to the wetland. As we did change those, the Title V setback is only 50 feet to a wetland, and they've got more than double that. So I would look more at the nitrogen loading for this lot, and they have 22,000 of upland with 34,000 total. If this was land underwater, then I would look at the 22,000 square feet of upland as the suitable area. And then it would be okay for a 2-bedroom without any treatment at all. And a 3-bedroom would be permissible with treatment. In this case, if it's not land underwater, if this wetland isn't saturated all the time, then they probably are fine for 4 bedrooms with the treatment system.
Yeah. And it's a
This is a
3-bedroom.
proposed 4-bedroom.
Yeah, I don't think that variance even applies anymore since we've
I think
changed
you're
that to be
correct.
more in line with Title V.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But if we wanna be ultra conservative, we could say it should only be 3 bedrooms with a treatment or 2 bedrooms with a conventional. Is this a vacant lot or is there something there before? Are we treating it as new construction or are we?
We have new construction.
This is new.
It says existing abandoned well on the property. I'm trying to understand why it had a well if it was a vacant lot.
Well, I think it might have been quite some time ago that it had something on it
There was
that's long
something
gone.
back in the day,
Yeah. One of those old, you go out there and there's an old half a foundation hanging out there, you know?
There's a half a foundation inside the footprint.
Yeah, there you go, see?
Right above where the proposed garage, they show the half footprint.
So it's probably a 2-bedroom cottage back in the day with a well.
Exactly.
If we wanted to look at it as a repair, certainly 2 bedrooms with a conventional or 3 with a D-night, and in this case, if the board's not too worried about it, I suggest a 4-bedroom with D-night is acceptable.
I'm okay with it. I move we approve it as presented, and make note that it, I think under the present regulations, though, it doesn't need a variance, but we'll just sort of codify it,
No,
okay?
This is more information once I look at it.
Yeah.
Once it's the wording change, we have a true isolated wetland.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is one of the first time it's come up.
Okay, so that's what my motion is.
I have a second.
I have to recuse myself
Oh.
to represent the buyer.
This too, an I second,
Okay, Patrick Tropiano, yes?
and Amy Dion, yes.
Okay. There you go. And that's fine.
So maybe we can get Business Bay Coalition on. I think we had spoke with them a month ago or so, or a couple weeks about getting them on. Right. That would be great for the general discussion and see where they're at and what any of the regulations, if they have any data, what they actually did. Would be interesting to see. So, health agents report, I don't have, oh, you already did that, infectious disease report, I don't have a whole lot new going on right now. Our flu is way down. COVID is actually down at the moment. People are getting outside, it's that time of the year. Next is tick, and there's a new, I would caution everybody, in the past, we've always said that most tick diseases are treatable with antibiotics or anti-malaria drugs. And there is something called Powassan virus out. It is, the tick only has to latch for 15 minutes and not the, 24 hours as with most of the tick-borne diseases. And it can cause a virus that is non-treatable. It was in the paper a couple weeks ago. There was a gentleman in his early 60s who was otherwise relatively healthy who died of it last year. There were 20 cases in Massachusetts last year. A few years ago, there was one in the world, so it's something relatively new. There are 4 states with it, and we're one of the lucky states that have it. My recommendation is wear insect repellent when you go outside, and try not to get bit by ticks. For some of us that might not have been as nervous about them because they were treatable, I think that's, it's still pretty rare, like the meningitis that we see in the summer, the later summer. But it is there, and it's probably gonna be worse this year than it was last year, I would guess. So that's the.
I treat my dogs and they are getting a lot of ticks this year.
Mhm.
Even being treated, they're getting a lot of ticks.
Yep.
And one of my dogs was limed and he had some other tick disease, even though he's been treated. So they're very heavy this year, very heavy.
Yeah,
I sprayed the whole yard, I had the whole yard done just in case. you know,
So,
bad news.
next announcements. Anyone? I think are you here? Is this your last meeting? Or are
Isn't
you
there
coming
another
in
meeting?
June?
I think
You're
I'm done
coming
at June 1st.
June 1st, so.
Yeah. This might be my, no, don't we
This
have another
might-
meeting this
No,
month?
this is the second meeting of the month.
Oh. well,
So
last
we
meeting.
thank you very much,
Oh,
Jillian,
thank you.
for all of your work, and it was lovely to have a lawyer, you personally, and then also a lawyer on.
Yeah.
Which has been helpful, so we'll miss you, but life gets busy. So
Thank you.
best to you, and thank you so much. And then discussion and possible vote on the meeting minutes from April 16th.
Move we approve the minutes of April 16th, 2025.
My second.
And
Marcus
all those in-
Tropiano, yes.
Jillian Morton, yes.
And Amy Pickett, yes. Any other business?
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Patrick Tropiano, yes.
Jillian Morton, yes.
And Amy Pickett, yes.
I got a
Thank
big pen.
So-
Where's the good pen? What's going